You may have seen the Ip Man movies, films about the legendary Kung Fu master and Bruce Lee's teacher. Although those movies are fictionalized, the real life of Ip Man is even more fascinating. Ip Man, whose real name was Yip Man, was born in 1893 in the city of Foshan, China, a place deeply rooted in Kung Fu culture. He grew up in a wealthy family, something very rare at the time. This allowed him to be trained by the best martial arts teachers from a young age. He chose the Wing Chun style and trained in Foshan until the age of 16. At 16, he moved to Hong Kong to continue his studies and enrolled at St. Stephen's College. At that time, Ip Man excelled both academically and in Kung Fu, which made him somewhat arrogant and convinced that no one could defeat him. He boasted about his strength everywhere he went. He constantly said, "Bring your elder, I can beat all of them." One of the boys Ip Man used to brag in front of knew someone who could teach him a real lesson. The boy told Ip Man, "I know someone you have absolutely no chance against." And Ip Man, with his usual confidence, replied, "Where is he? I'll beat him, no matter where he is." When Ip Man first stood in front of Lung Bik, he still believed he could defeat him easily. But the moment the fight began, he realized none of his attacks were landing. Every strike he threw was effortlessly neutralized with a simple movement. And before he even understood what happened, he found himself getting hit instead. Ip Man, who had always believed he was unbeatable, suddenly realized how powerless he truly was. The longer the fight went on, the more shock and frustration he felt. For the first time in his life, he felt completely helpless. This defeat shattered years of built-up pride. Ip Man finally understood how small his skills were compared to a real master. After the fight, instead of boasting or acting tough, he stood before Lung Bik and apologized. Seeing this change in attitude and recognizing that Ip Man had genuinely become humble, Lung Bik said, "If you want, you can become my student." From that day on, Ip Man transformed from an arrogant teenager into a humble, calm, and eager learner, becoming the student of one of the greatest Wing Chun masters. He studied until the age of 23, and during that time, under the guidance of Lung Bik, he became a true Wing Chun master. After his teacher's death, a heartbroken Ip Man returned to Foshan and married Chung Wing Sing. They had 5 children together. As he grew older, he decided to become a Kung Fu instructor. Foshan had fierce competition among masters who fought to prove their skills. Ip Man defeated nearly all of them, and his reputation spread across China. In 1937, the Japanese invaded China and occupied Foshan. Although they mistreated most Chinese citizens, they respected Ip Man because his fame had reached Japan. They suggested he take his family to Hong Kong for safety, and he agreed. After the war ended, the communists led by Mao Zedong came to power. Because Ip Man had previously served in the National Police Force, he feared the new regime might use that against him, so he stayed in Hong Kong. In 1950, his wife and one of his daughters went back to Foshan to retrieve their documents. But that same year, Mao closed all borders. Ip Man never saw his wife and daughter again. Deeply devastated, he became depressed and eventually addicted to opium. Yet he continued to train daily and performed his techniques with precision. During this period, he met a young Bruce Lee, who was looking to train under the best master in Hong Kong. At first, Ip Man refused to teach him because Bruce's mother was partially European and not fully Chinese. But after seeing Bruce's talent and dedication, he agreed to train him. The rest of Bruce Lee's story is full of incredible events. If you want, I can also make a video of it for you.